Okay, so now we've got our call recording started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first webinar of the 2014 season. My name is Jacob Timmons. I am the support administrator for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, and United States. Thank you all for connecting today. We will be recording the webinar. If any of you have connectivity issues or sound issues and can't get those resolved, or if you have associates that couldn't attend today, we are recording and we will make the recorded webinar available via your BOS bulletin board. It usually takes a few hours, so it'll probably be tomorrow before it is available on your bulletin board. We've got just a couple more people connecting here. Let me get them in. Excuse me. All right, so today's webinar, what we're going to do is we're going to cover, or of course, you've seen our topic in our newsletter, which was BOS Basics, where we're going to give you a nice overview of the BOS, and specifically, we're going to go through the steps of manually registering children into your database. We're going to review online registration process and review the pending children process. We're going to review parent login areas, and then we're going to close by showing you how to quickly and very easily make a backup of your entire database. We do ask that you keep in mind during the whole webinar, if you can come up with an idea or you have a topic that you think would be a great topic for discussion, we would love to hear it at the end during the Q&A section. We're always looking for important topics that you all want to discuss, and so any topics that you might have in mind, please do share those with us at the end during the Q&A session. We'd love to hear them. So let's get started. First, we're going to go to the imaginationlibrary.com, which is what you see on screen in front of you now. Now, once you're here, what you want to do as an affiliate is you want to scroll down to the bottom of the page to the affiliate login, as you see here in the dark blue bar. And then you're going to enter your username and password, which you would already have provided to you via your regional director or via an automated email according to the kind of user you are, whether you're a data clerk, coordinator, or main coordinator. So your username and password would have been automatically sent to you or actually given to you by your wonderful regional director. Okay, so let's go ahead and enter our username today as a data clerk and put in our password here. And then we're going to select our country. Today we're going to navigate through the U.S. so that we can use our address and everything and show you some of the steps of validation. So we're going to click Submit. And now what you see in front of you is the system is, for security purposes, asking me to re-enter my password and select a new one. This happens if it's the first time you've ever logged into the book order system, and it also happens periodically if your password expires, for example. And we have different times of expiration, but for the most part, passwords will stay valid for 90 days. 90 days. Now, if you are in the United Kingdom, I do believe United Kingdom passwords are set to expire every 60 days, according to the regulations that we abide by. So now we're going to enter that password here, the one that we started with. And then we're going to enter a new one. for security, of course. And as we enter, you see the screen changes, um, and not the screen, but the little bar below, and it lets us know that the password strength is a good, strong password. And because I was talking, I forgot what I typed. So let me do it again. Now, let's click Save. And here we are at your bulletin board. Now, according to the user type that you are, you're going to see a little bit different set of options up here. Now, coordinator, your menu is going to be identical to what a data clerk's menu is, with the exception of the coordinator will have a few more options than a data clerk will have. Got a couple more people just trying to connect here. Okay, so let me get this little tool here, and we will go in and select this area here just to highlight it. This area is a very important area. It is considered your bulletin board. In the bulletin board, this is the area that you want to check every time you log into the book order system, because anytime there's new and important information to share with you, we're going to post it here in the bulletin board. The most recent information is always going to be on the top in this area and then work its way down. And there's always some different instructions for different things going on, different updates for different countries and different affiliates and different user types. So always make it a point to check this area on login. Now, if we do have an urgent alert of sorts, then we're going to push those alerts to the bulletin board, but we're also going to show them here on your top of your BOS system. This is called the ticker. And the reason why we push urgent alerts to this area is because this area is going to show to you no matter if you're able to log into the book order system or not. So we want everyone to be able to get urgent messages. Maybe we have the system is down, or maybe we are having a major update, or maybe traffic is really heavy, or maybe we're partially closed in some areas for the monthly process that takes place. That's where these alerts will show. And we, in the support center, we refer to these as tickers, urgent alert tickers. Now, just as a reminder to learn at your own pace, if you're brand new to the book order system and you want to learn at your own pace, when you log in here to the book order system, right here you have the playlist for BOS Getting Started, and that is a complete list of visual video how-tos for learning just about everything you need to learn for the book order system. So even after today's webinar, remember, you can use those videos to help you navigate through learning the book order system and all of its features at your own pace. And as a reminder, again, this is being recorded, so in addition to those videos, you can have this webinar recorded. Now, as a data clerk or even a coordinator of the book order system, it's your responsibility to make sure that all paper registrations are entered correctly for those of you who accept paper registrations. And it's also your responsibility for those of you who allow online registrations to review and tend to all online registrations each month. You also need to make sure all children's addresses are updated and correct as best as you possibly can. And most importantly, you have to make certain that each month, before the system closes for the monthly process, you need to make a backup of your data, the entire database. So let's go here. Let me give you a link here that'll be helpful in case you don't have it already. I'll put it over here in the chat window. So if you haven't yet gone to the chat window, just click above center of your screen, the green chat bubble. and I'm going to put a link over there for our calendar. And this calendar, actually, let me just copy that link again. I don't think it activated. Let's try that. There we go. So this calendar tells you when our next webinar is going to be, and it also tells you when our next monthly process is going to be. Okay. And we have webinars. The times of the webinars are subject to change, so those will change closer to the event. But the monthly processes, those are set in stone from now through the rest of the year, so that you know when to make a backup of your data, and so that you can help keep your parents more informed as well. Now, by doing all the points that we reviewed just a few moments ago, you can help ensure that each of the children registered, they receive their book, and you help cut down on, or even in many cases, you eliminate the costly problem of undeliverable books, and that's something that we really want to do, because every book every undeliverable book that we catch ahead of time, that's a book that can go to a child, and save you save that money. It's a win-win. So let's first go over manually registering children in your database. And while we do that, we're going to, during that process, show you or explain to you the address verification. So as a data clerk, what you want to do to add a child is mouse over your data clerk menu here. And then you're going to see the option Children. And then you're just going to simply click Add. The first thing you're going to do is enter the child's last name. And then you're going to enter their first name. And then you're going to enter their birthday. Now, in the US, you're going to have month, day, year. And in, I think, Australia and United Kingdom, you're going to have the day, month, year. So if this looks a little different than what you're used to seeing, that it should correspond according to what country you're logging in from. So for today, we're just going to choose 2014, January 1st. And when we click go, what's going to happen is the book order system is going to check this last name, middle initial, and first name against all 704,890 active records in the system. And then it's going to make sure that that child, or as best as it can, help make sure that the child is not, in fact, a child that's already existing in the book order system, or as we refer to it as our deduplication tool. And then on go, the next thing the book order system is going to do, all within a couple of seconds, it's going to check the birth date that you have entered to make sure that the child is eligible. So let's click go and see what we get. So the child is not flagged as a duplicate. That's a good thing. And the next screen that we see here, according to what country you're tuning in from, this screen may look a little different, but remember, all the fields are the same. They may be in a little different order. The first thing you see is assigned to. That is automatically going to be you, your affiliate. Now, the next thing you see is welcome book, and by default, that is set to yes. Now, the welcome book is, in the case of the U.S. and in Canada, is the little engine that could. Every child that registers for the Imagination Library, they get a welcome book. And if some of the affiliates do have registration events, where you may have an event where you have parents come to attend this event with their children, and they register their children during that event. And during that event, you give them a welcome book while they are there. So you don't want that child maybe to get another welcome book, of course. So when you're registering that child into the book order system, the reason why we give you the option is just so if you've had a registration event, the child's already got a welcome book, then you can just simply change that to no, so that the book order system doesn't send them another one. But by default, it is set to yes. Last name, middle initial, and first name you see here are not editable, and that is simply because the system has already gone through the deduplication process, and in order to change that name, we need to again deduplicate that record. So if you do need to change the name or the spelling of the name, you do need to click back and start over. Next, you see the gender of the child is defaulted to male. If your child is a little girl, you need to change that and just simply change it to female. Now, our fields that follow that are the parent's first and last name for the parent number one, and first and last name for parent number two. By default, you are not required to enter both parent one and parent two, but you are required to enter the first parent's first name and last name. Okay? The next four fields that you see here are additional information fields. They are optional. You do not have to use them. They are there for your use only if your organization needs them. Going back to our example of the registration event. So let's say you do have a registration event and you want to track all of the children that were registered via that registration event. So then you could simply go and put registration event 01 02 2014. And then forever and ever and ever, that child's record will have that footnote in it. And when you make a backup of your database, you can actually sort the records. So in short, what that means is you can see how many children were registered at that particular event. Okay? Lots of affiliates make use of a couple of fields. Some of our affiliates make use of all fields. And the reason why there's one red one there is because sometimes it's easier for the affiliate to set protocol with their staffing and say, look, there are 4 additional information fields in the Imagination Library. You can use the first 3 for whatever you need, but the fourth one, the one that's in red, you need to put this in there, whatever this may be. Okay? So moving on down, now in the U.S., we have the check address system that directly connects with the United States Post Office. In Australia, we have that connected directly to the Australian Post. And in Canada, there is no validation. And in the United Kingdom, it's going to look a little different for you because we use the Royal Mail data. Either way, it does look a little different, but in essence, they're all the same steps. You simply add your address and then check to make sure it's a good one. So let's try 920 Eastgate Road, and then we're going to put in my zip code, and then we're going to click Tab. Oh, let me put 62. Click Tab, and you see our state, city, and county. They're automatically populated. Now, if you had put in a zip code that had multiple states or multiple cities or multiple counties listed, then you can actually click to select the county, city, and or state that matches the address you are trying to enter. Once you have entered this information, you must click Check Address. What we've done then by clicking Check Address is we've automatically connected to the United States Postal Service, and the United States Postal Service has told us right here in this little area that this is actually the valid way to type that address. And instead of us having to retype that information, we can simply click Use This Address, and magically it pulls it over there just like it needs to be pulled over, and everything is finished with the address validation, so we can close that up. Now, the next field is your email. Now, that is, let me just type this in. Oh, I already got it in my cache. So that is currently an optional field. It is not mandatory. but we highly recommend that you always get a valid email address from a parent. You will find that it is the most efficient way of contacting your parents. Nowadays, people do not have the time to be interrupted by a phone call, even if you are giving their child free books. You know, they might be at work. It might not be the best time for them to be receiving a call for whatever reason. You might try to call them 2 or 3 times, never get an answer. But the odds are you send them an email saying, look, we're having trouble with little Jimmy's book, and they will check it on their phone, and 5 minutes you'll get a response. I mean, it's just better odds for you to get a better response, more efficient response, and it's free. So get an email address whenever possible. We highly recommend it. Next, we do have our phone field here. If you have a phone for the parent, you can enter that phone number. And if you don't have a phone for the parent, you can skip that field. Now, for some of our affiliates, they do ask for space to add another mailing address in case maybe the child's primary mailing address has an issue and the book can't be delivered. And for those affiliates that wish to have a secondary address on file for a child, you can actually click yes to second address and enter a second address to have on file for that child. That address is not used unless you manually go in and use the fields that are provided. But it's good to have. It's good to have as a backup. Always good to have as a backup. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to head up to the top here where it says registration. You see our registration date is automatically entered because of today's date. And our registration type is regular for regular registration. Now, if you are part of an organization that has a hospital program where you're registering children when they're born in the hospital, then you can change that to hospital for your particular choice. Now, that's that. And then, of course, the birth date is there for you, and it's not editable because we've already validated the birth date. So now, if you are done registering children, you can click Save and Exit. Or if you have another child to register, you can click Save and Next. Let's click Save and Exit. Okay, so now that is the child registration, the regular registration process. It is just that simple. Now let's move on to our next process, which is going to be online registrations. Just because we did put in the email address for the parent, let's just head over here and see if we've got anything in our inbox. And we do, in fact. Congratulations, your child is approved. And this is the welcome email that I have for my child. And the reason why that child, this email came to me as the parent is because as the affiliate, we just went in and successfully registered the child in the book order system. So this is the kind of automated responders or emails that the parents receive during the registration process. Now, let me just move this screen out the way, and then this will make a little more sense the further we go into it. So just for precaution, I'm just going to go ahead and log out of the book order system. Excuse me, and head over to the main website here. All right, so here we go. Now, as a parent, what we're going to do now is show you as a parent how we would register a child using the website. Now, if you have a blog or a website, you can, by all means, have this same online registration feature within your website using the some special code that we have available to you. We'll get to that. We'll touch on that before we wrap up today, too. Okay. So now let's go to register a child as a parent in Imagination Library. Again, USA. We'll click register my child. As you see, we give the parent some information to give them to let them know what to expect and to ensure proper delivery of books, and so forth and so on. Now, the first thing the parent has to do is they do have to agree to the terms of service for the Imagination Library website. And once they do agree to those terms and service, then you'll see very familiar fields. The parent needs to enter their address. According to what country you are connecting from, your online registration may be a little different. It's the same fields, but it's a different or maybe a different order, and that's just according to how we validate the child's address, if we validate the address at all, and the way your postcodes are made up. So, for example, in the U.S., our postcodes do not have a space, and we validate the postcode, address, city, state, and county. And in other countries, we don't have some of those same fields. So let's put in our address. We'll put in the same one we tried earlier, and we'll put in the same zip code. Now we're going to tab down, and you see the system automatically populated the state, city, and county, and we're just going to click check availability. Now we have a little blue check mark that says the registration is available, so I'm going to click to continue. Now we moved on to step 3. We're going to check for eligibility. So let's put in 2013, put in a test child's name, and then a test child's last. And we're going to click check eligibility. And the child is eligible, so we're going to continue and enter the parent's first and last name. And then for online registrations, it is required that the parent enters an email address. And they have to enter that address twice to confirm, make sure they typed it correctly. And they can enter a phone number if they have one. And let's just go ahead and click continue. Now, the parent gets a note here that's congratulations, you successfully completed our online registration process. Lets them know what's next, what to look for, to check their email within a few minutes. Lets them know once their child's registration application has been reviewed, they'll be notified. We notify them on screen here during and after the registration, and we also notify them automatically in their inbox, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So that address has received. Thank you for registering your child with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Please note the registration is now pending. So the child's status is set to pending. The affiliate is told that the child's status is set to pending, and then we share your affiliate information with that parent. So let me move that off screen. And now that we're finished registering our child, what we're going to do is we're going to head back over to the book order system, and I'm going to now review with you the pending child area. So let's go back to login. And let me see if I can find my username and password again. And I think I've got it here. Yep. Now, what pops up in front of us? Pending registrations. We have a child that has been registered, and this window has popped up in front of us to let us know we need to tend to this child's record. We want this child to be, their parents have registered them, so we want them to be denied or approved as soon as possible. Don't use this as a waiting list. Do not use this as a waiting list. Do not let this sit here for longer than a month, because what happens is the system will purge these records if they have been there too long. And I do believe now the maximum they can remain is 30 days. And the reason why this is happening, or the reason why it's done that way, is because before we knew any better, when we first launched this, we thought, people would register, and then their registrations would be reviewed, and then they would be approved or declined. And then time went by, and we found children that were actually registered in pending registrations since they were born, and then they were graduated. They had been in there for nearly 5 years. So we had to figure out a way to stop that. And so that's why a child's record comes up in front of us now. It's there. It's urgent. It needs to be taken care of, and let's take care of it. So we're just going to click Edit. And all we have to do is review the information the parent has put in to make sure that we deem it satisfactory. And then we check our address just like we did before. And we use this address, and we close, and we're happy with it, so let's approve it. So now there are no urgent alerts. Everyone's happy, and the parent is going to be notified that, in fact, their child's record was approved. You see? Congratulations, your child's registration has been approved. And that's how it works. That's just how simple it is to deal with pending registrations. And what we want to do next is we want to review our parent login areas. And let's see if I can't get our login information. I think I still have it here. I'm going to go to login recovery. All right. So I've gone to login recovery to recover my password. And let's go to it now. Here is my password. And we're just going to go log in and see what's going on. Okay. So here we have two children. One is a little girl. See the little pink icon? And one's a little boy, the little blue icon that you see here. And you see that both children are set, their registration status is set to active. So that means they're both set to receive books. And if I wanted to see each child's affiliate information, I can simply click to see the affiliate information, just like that. Now, if I want to see what books are being mailed or have been mailed for the month of January, I can click Books Mailed for January. And we've added a note here for clarity. So with the parents, that registered yesterday, don't think that they're going to get a book tomorrow. Was your child recently approved? Please allow 6 to 9 weeks for their first or next book to arrive. And we put next there because sometimes a child's record is edited by the parent after they've been in there for a while, and they may have already received a few books. So this might not necessarily be their first book. It could just be their next book. And then we explain the group description as you see here. The welcome book is everyone's first book. And then the group 1, children born this year, group 2, so forth and so on. So that's an explanation of what group their child falls in so that they can then see what books were mailed and when. You see, date mailed January 2nd, January 15th, 14th, 9th, 6th, and so on. And this is updated every month by your affiliate relations manager, Kate Phillips, I do believe. So there you have it. That's your parent login area. If I were a parent and I wanted to edit my child's information, then I could do so by clicking Edit. Maybe I want to change that record to a different address. Let's do that. See what happens here. We have to check to see if the program is available in that new area. And then I'm told as a parent that I can save the changes, and then my child was going to be sent to a pending status. So let's do that. Let's save the changes. And now you see I have changed from being having an active record. Now I have a pending record as well. Okay. And just so you can see what it looks like before we move on to our last thing, I will head over here to the coordinator account or data clerk account, and you see we have a new urgent alert, and that new urgent alert icon shows you that parents have edited this child. And so you're going to click on the edit. You're going to check the edit that was made, just like you did before. Use that address and then approve. And I think that's going to take care of the approval process. And then you see here that when the child went into the pending area and was reapproved, the system sent the parent an approval. Let's refresh this and see what it looks like. Yeah, I gotta log back in. That happens because I was logged in as a data clerk too. So let's go back over here and grab our password. Making sure that we do not grab dead space at the beginning or end. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And there we have it. Our child is now active once again with their new updated address information. Okay, so let's move on to our final step here, which is to make a monthly backup of your entire database. You want to do that every month before the BOS closes for the monthly process. So let's click out of that, head over to the book order system, and to make a backup of your entire database, you're going to simply click Reports, and then you're going to go to Child Lists, and you're going to click Go. And there your backup has been made. And all you need to do simply is click here to download. You're going to save that record. And you see it's saved. We can't open it because if we open it, you'll see the actual children born in TN severe. So we don't want to do that for privacy reasons. But that's it. You simply go to Reports, click Child Lists. The child list is downloaded and is generated, and then you click to download, and you're done. It just takes a couple of seconds, and what that does is that saves you, it saves us in the event of a catastrophic event happening. If a server went down or if a fire at a facility, and let's say something really bad happened where all the data was stored, and then a meteor went and hit the second building where the backup data was stored, and then a flood hit the third building across country where the backup data was restored, which hopefully that will never, ever, ever happen. But if it did, you have a backup of your data, and you can always use that data in the case of a catastrophic event happening, and you can always use it for your good on a daily or just doing your daily duties. By using the data, you can search for child records and do edits. And if you're investigating a return book or a book that's not being delivered, it can be helpful in very many other ways. Just remember, for security reasons and for privacy reasons of the child, never email that list. Do not email that list, because sending anything through an email is very, very non-secure, not secure at all. So do not send child list data through email. Okay? That concludes our webinar, our first one of 2014. And we thank all of you all for connecting with us today. And we do have time for Q&A, and I will start with the first one I can find here on the list. Does anybody have a question that I can help with? Okay, so if you use the hospital option, will the child still get the little engine as the first mailed book? Yeah, that's a good question. The answer is yes. So if only if you want them to. Sometimes the hospital option, as a nurse, you can give the book, while the parents and the child are still there in the hospital. But if you don't have that inventory of books, then you can still let the system send them a little engine book, exactly the same as the scenario that we explained about the registration events. If you were to have a registration event, okay. So hope that answers your question. And then we have another. Does the welcome book come? Oh, we're having a computer problem here. Let's see what we got. Can everyone still hear and see me? I think so. So does the welcome book count as the first book, or does a child get welcome book and first month book the first month? The welcome book counts as the first book. So if my child was born today, then my child's first month book would be the welcome book. So yeah. Okay, and Erica says, is it possible to rename the additional information fields in the book order system so information is entered consistently in the fields? Well, the answer is no, you cannot rename the additional information fields. But the reason why you cannot rename the additional information fields is so that the data is consistent. So you have the information field name as the header. Let me just open a blank document and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So this would say additional information. That's what it would look like. Okay, and then you can use that data however you want. Actually, let me move this one over. And then this one here would be red. So those will always be the same. And then whatever you decide to put down here is for your reference. Mary asked, if it takes 6 to 9 weeks to receive a book, does the system give that time at the back end so the child receives all books possible? In order for books to be created, like actually produced, the book order system actually runs a month in advance. So we do everything that we possibly can to get as many books into the hands of each child as possible. But because we run 1 month in advance, we do according to what date or what day of the month the child is registered on. Like if they're registered right immediately after a monthly process, for example, then it could take 2 months, and so they would lose out on a book. That's why some folks do like to do the registration events where they do give the welcome books away, and then they turn around and register them in time for that child to be in the book order system for the next monthly process. Mary, that's a good question. Is there a way to save information related to parents' name and address when registering siblings so I don't have to re-enter all information? Very good question. The answer is no, it's not. But as I am reading that out loud, I'm also making a note of it because that's a very, very good question. Anybody have any other questions before we close today's session? Oh, Mary, I just thought of something. Um, if we related, if we made the parent records related, like you're talking about, the issue will happen. It will happen. It happens every day. But the issue that will come up will be when the parents are going through a divorce, and you're not aware of it, and then you have the two names tied together, although legally they're no longer together, and it's maybe a nasty divorce, and the husband's calling you about the records when in fact the wife is not aware he's calling you. I think that could there could be privacy issues there. And correct, Mary, that's correct. You have to save to your own device. Excuse me. And I think that is it. It is 1:51, so we got done with a couple of minutes to spare. Thanks everyone for connecting with us today. I think, and I've answered everything that was in the chat window there. Right, Mary. That's right. What you said I mean when I'm registering multiple children at the same time. The only way to do that is to relate the two names. Um, a multiple child sign up would be possible though. Like you say at the same time. Um, it's not necessarily an overly commonplace thing, but I see the point though, and on the surface, I think it could be beneficial and a time saver as well. Lucy, hello everyone. Sorry I'm late. I forgot about the time difference. Lucy, where are you connecting from? I think that's all the questions we have here. Just scroll back up just to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, I think I got them all. Thank you for connecting too. And thanks all of you for connecting. I hope this was helpful. We will make this available on your bulletin board by tomorrow. All goes well. And stay warm. And we'll see you. Well, we'll talk to you next month. And Lucy, hopefully you can connect in time next month. But you missed the live webinar. But again, we've recorded it. So check out your bulletin board tomorrow. We'll post a link to it, okay? Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon, evening, or morning. Bye bye.